Like that's so we all had our own. We were all our own people. We were all very different, but we bonded and connected on some like really like family shit, political shit, growing up in the same way, and having the same or similar outlook on it. But we just to this day we have a chat. We'll just be texting back and forth, just like throwing each other like, yo, you hear this record? You hear this record? Like, yo, you gotta listen to this thing. All types of shit. It's just the same type of like bond connection. But it's like we were saying earlier, man. Like Bill was just somebody that was just different. Like he thought different. Like he just did different.
Yeah, fuck
and it was.
You got mad at me for not answering fast enough. Different.
Yeah, he probably just don't. He's not usually on the internet like this. So like,
shout out DJ on Bay Pill one more time. That's fucking cool. You got a whole like.
Yeah, that's my man. 100 grand, man. That's my boy, man. I love him to death. He's my brother, man. So yeah, man. Like,
so it's crazy how like organic your shit is, right? You just like we're just in this era where as you're coming up, people aren't trying to be famous. People are just like mad excited.
I mean, some people are. Don't get me twisted. Yeah, some people are.
But not,
some
I
people
would
are
say that the ratio of people getting involved in something like this within the back of their mind, a desire to pop off, has changed.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think, you know what I think it is, Holden? I think, and I don't want to over-romanticize it, and I'm only one person, but I'll say, to your point, I think the time that I came from, it was a lot harder to quote unquote blow up. There was a lot of things that needed to kind of fall into place for you to become big and famous. But the internet, social media, technology, like we had to spend thousands of dollars just to get a professional mix of a record.
But then there was a much higher chance you were going to flip that shit for $10.
Yes and no, because there was still a lot of cats making music, and we didn't have, like I said, Bill's from Somers, New York. I'm from Hopatcong, New Jersey, and the ethos that we had was we're not going to front like we're not from there. Like we're not going to be like, okay, we're tough, or like we're badasses. Like we're going to talk about the shit that we know and the shit we love. So by that point in the mid to late 90s, yeah, there's an underground movement and there's independent, there's like Raucous Records and Quantum and all this other shit. But rap now is being dominated by like top 40, Puff Daddy, Southern shit. So like in order to like get on and get a record played on the radio or like get a video made, you needed hundreds of thousands of dollars. You needed to be signed by a label. And you weren't really just like, now, I mean, I have, if I were to turn my computer around, my wife's a singer, a producer as well. We have a studio. We make our own albums. You know what I mean? Like, I shout out to my man Willie Green, Core Rhythm, dope MCs, dope musicians, but they're also engineers and they're homies. I can just go like, all right, cool. I don't have to go rent a studio. I just call one of them up and like, yo, you got time? Like, this is the timeline. Here's some shit. Let's set it up so you can kind of like mix this shit. You can have your own industry without having to like, basically go through a lot of middle people. So it was sort of like
true.
Yeah,
there is the flip side to that. Just because there's that perception of it. My perception is the barrier entry so low that a 17-year-old on his phone is able to compete with me with my gear. And it's an entirely different threshold where 100,000 views is meaningless in a world where 100,000 views once meant success. So the target of success has gotten so much higher in an inflationary way where it's effectively the same thing.
No, yeah, exactly, and that's that saturation you're talking about, right? And I almost feel like I want to ask you, like, how many people have a real, say, like, million subscribers? Like, how much of that is an actual, like, grind out, like, I did a whole bunch of episodes and I had strategy to, like, connect to this influencer that got me to these groups of people, and how much is that bought? And how much of that is just genuine, like, I had a really dope concept or a really dope story, and I knew how to flip it, and I had
think
the strategy to network.
I think it's always going to be the same thing where talent is a very much a small perception of it, but I think you can get out of paying for advertising per se, but there's always a cost, and you're going to pay with time slash creativity, you're going to pay with money, but it's probably a hybrid of the two. But I don't believe there's such a thing as big time success without a lot of compromise and a lot of effort put into finding a place in the market. Like Drink Champs was like, yo, nobody gives flowers, let's give flowers. Boom, that's a whole niche. Joe Rogan was like, I'm gonna bring on controversial people and pretend I'm fucking equal and whatnot. Whatever, we see through him now. Joe Budden was like, I'm Joe Budden, and that was enough in his case. But that came with what? Love and hip hop, mixtapes, drama. But you know, like, so like the answer to the question is, I think people follow interesting things, and to be interesting is fucking complicated in this world. And the scale up is going to require treating anything more like a business than like an art project. But you have to create art projects, but then treat the rest of it. So if you want to be independent, at least you can go get signed if you don't want to run that shit. You know what I mean? Like that's like the trade-off. So at that point, it's like you find a lot more of your choices are driven by should be driven by community. I think if everyone really wants to figure it out, it's how do you create it? Like, how did Hot Wings really create a fucking community around chicken wing fanatics? But they did. Fucking were the Hot Ones or whatever, the chicken wing show, interview show. Like,
yeah.
It's such a stupid gimmick, but it was so regular. Who the fuck doesn't like hot? You know, in the back of your mind, you're like, I kind of want to go on that shit. So to me, the answer to your question is really find a way to make people want to be involved. Like, they want to feature on your music, so they feel excited at that idea. How do you make people feel excited to feature with you? How do you make people feel excited to be on your show? So I tried to create an experience that was almost therapeutic in the way that we go through your life, so that when you leave here, you're left with this feeling of, fuck that, I want to come back on that shit. That's all I care about on my show. And I feel like as long as I make sure my guest is cool with it, they enjoy the experience, then they're just going to tell people I'm dope, and that's all I really need, because their opinion's fucking dope. And so it's a lot of that. But yo, this is like years of failure. I used to be like egocentric with it. It used to be about myself, and then I realized I went like 7 years, never even said Montreal, and I'm like, that's weird. This is a team sport shit, and I'm not even repping my own team. So I had to like go through all these epiphanies to realize you have to tap into your local community and find a way to provide value. And all the famous people I've seen, all the brands that succeeded did this like sort of things. But then if you take it back to what you did, none of those people were cool, or none of those people. So it's like I try to combine these elements in my head to create a formula that I can teach people on how to fucking take their brands and actually run it. The thing is it's gonna work, because 95% of people are going to flat out fucking ignore me. So it's cool if I spit the game. Nobody's gonna do it.
Right. Well, they're looking for the cheat code, right? They're looking for the quick. And you had the knowledge nugget just a minute ago, man, because it's like build community, and I feel like
ironically,
that
KRS One's The Gospel of Hip Hop is the book that
Amen.
Really showed me that shit.
You see, you talking my language, my man. So, and that's the thing, right? Like, it's fucked up, Holden, because what you said is literally the key, and it's become such a cliche because, to your point earlier as well, that shit doesn't happen in 5 minutes. It might take 15 years. So you really find out, like, are you really about what you say you're about? Are you really about these people? Do you really want to grow and connect? Like, relationships, real relationships, in my opinion, they don't happen over a period of like 1 or 2 days or like a few hours. Like, it's about being consistent and coming back time and again, no matter the situation or the circumstance, right? And that way, that's that authenticity, right? And you said it's not about being cool, because cool can get seen through really quickly if that shit's not born of anything, right?